Welcome everybody to How Fast Will It Go, and today we're dealing with the 2022 Fast and Furious Dodge Charger SRT Hellcat Redeye Widebody. So this now has 1,525 horsepower, 1,365 pounds-feet of torque from its 7-litre supercharged V8 engine. The car itself now weighs 3,824 pounds, has all-wheel drive, and it can only 0 to 60 in 1.996 seconds. And 0 to 100 in 3.868 seconds. So, yeah, obviously being a modern car, these kind of vehicles typically aren't the fastest vehicles at the top end, but it does have a lot of power, a lot of torque from a really rather quite large engine. The supercharger is absolutely amazing in terms of the way it sounds, by the way, as you'll hear. But yeah, being a modern, not entirely aerodynamic, non-supercar or hypercar, this might not be the fastest, but should be pretty hilarious to drive regardless. So let's get out there and see what this car can do. So there's the really rather loud supercharger on the go, which yeah is now a race supercharger. So yeah, there's 220 already. So I have locked off the rear spoiler just to improve the aerodynamics. So it has less in the way of downforce, restricting the top speed, so that's 260. Interesting to see what this can do against the Fast and Furious Chevrolet Impala, which managed I think 273 miles an hour. We're on 270 now though. So we're a few miles an hour off, but not a massive amount off, regardless. So yeah, it definitely looks like we've got a limited amount of extra revs to go. So 270 might be all we have. It doesn't help that we're not the lightest of vehicles, unlike that Impala, which was actually a fair bit lighter than we are. It's nearly 600 pounds less than we are. That's 271, 272, so gravity is helping us gain that speed, but gravity is not our engine today, so yeah, we are going to scrub some of that speed off. Can we at least hold 270? Any more than that? Holding 271. Right, 271 is what I'm going to call it, so not quite as quick as the other Fast and Furious car that we've already had on this series, which was 2 miles an hour quicker, which, considering that's a far older car, is a little bit surprising that this isn't quite as quick as that. But that car did have a lot more in the way of power. It had nearly 400 extra horsepower and about 200 extra pounds-feet of torque. So no, actually nearly 300 pounds-feet of torque extra, in fact. So yeah, so 271 though does at least put us alongside the Porsche 356 SL Gumund Coupe, the Audi RS7 Sportback, the Nissan GT-R Nismo, the Jaguar XJ13, the original Pontiac Firebird, and the Ferrari Monza SP2. We are slightly quicker though than the Alfa Romeo 8C Competizione and the Lamborghini Huracan STO, but we are slower not only than the Impala but also than the Huracan Performante, Aventador SVJ, XJ220 STWR, the Formula Drift Dodge Viper, and a DMC DeLorean. So yeah, could have been a lot faster if it was a more aerodynamic kind of vehicle, but obviously even with all the rounded edges and whatnot, it's still quite a slab-sided kind of car. But it held the power really rather nicely. But then again, it is only 525 extra horsepower over what it had stock, but it still handled that nicely. The all-wheel drive wasn't any issue with this car, and yeah, it handled the extra acceleration and speed also pretty good as well. So yeah, no real major issues, just not as quick as you might expect for a 1500 horsepower plus car. But that's just the way it goes on this series sometimes. Cars that have a lot of power aren't typically or necessarily even going to be the fastest. So yeah, but nonetheless, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.